Tristan of Zenobia.
Don't call me by that name.
Now that is probably a good choice. How many lives and hopes do you think were taken in Zenobia's name so far? As long as you live, your name will continue to take people's lives, along with their hopes.
This ends now.
That's right. I'm going to beat you here and restore peace.
It's true. But there's only one way to get rid of such a curse. Tristan, don't you want to create a world without conflict?
Baldur, what do you want to say?
If you obey the power of darkness, I will grant your wish. Do you feel like ruling the world with the power of darkness?
You've got to be kidding. Tristan wouldn't listen to you.
Mediocrity should be silent. I'm only speaking to Tristan.
I don't want the power of darkness.
Really? Can't you still understand the magnificence of the power of darkness? Then what about this?
Hearing Tristan's reply, Baldur grabbed his cloak with his right hand and spread it wide. The lining of his cloak displayed a vision of Tristan's volunteer army comrades fighting in Doriapolo. Yorkaif was bleeding and wielding his sword to protect his wounded comrades. Grant was desperately casting spells at the onrushing enemy troops. Aquarius was taking care of those who were injured with a disgruntled face. Some were exhausted and had collapsed. Some were hurt but still trying to stand up. Believing in Tristan's victory, his comrades who were fighting desperately in a battle with an overwhelming difference in strength were projected one after another. In response to the horrific scene, Tristan and the others stood speechless.
Your people are candles in the wind. They are about to disappear before my power. If you succumb to the forces of darkness, I will spare them. What do you think? Use the power of darkness to rule the world, and your people will be saved.
I refuse. My friends are fighting for my victory. If I succumb to your power, their efforts will be in vain. Even without the power of darkness, I will make peace.
Why are you so afraid of the forces of darkness? Do you truly desire peace? And if so, why fight? Why do humans hate each other? Why do they cheat each other?
Certainly this is often the case. But there are people who want and strive for peace just as much. Like the people of Doriapolo, which is now the battlefield, and Orozov, who guided us here. We will defeat you for those people too.
Fools. Orozov, thank you for your hard work. Come here.
Yes, Lord Baldur.
No way.
Are you a minion of Baldur?
While Tristan and the others were startled, Orozov slowly walked in front of Baldur.
Tristan, I guess you thought you managed to get here on your own. I don't think so. You were led here by the power of darkness.
Really?
Orozov, why?
This man lost his family in the war. Since then, he has lived solely on hatred and alcohol. Tristan, tell me, how many more men like this are you going to create? How do you save someone who has lost all their loved ones? I can give this man eternal silence. Like this.
As Baldur spoke, he pierced Orozov's chest with the black sword he was holding in his left hand. Orzhov showed no expression of distress. Rather, when he saw the black greatsword sticking out of his chest, he smiled contentedly and passed out.
Did you see that blissful expression? Man is born from darkness and returns to darkness. Life is just a series of noisy moments until death. It is your true desire to bring eternal silence to the world.
Absolutely not. The silence that darkness brings is false. It's just a method of stagnation that stops all in the darkness.
Fool, do you reject the darkness?
Well, I don't approve of it.
Then bow your head in front of me. I'll take you back to the netherworld.
Baldur shouted and thrust his bloody black sword into the floor. Along with the tremendous vibration, the magic symbols carved on the floor harbored a terrible crimson glow.
What the...
Tristan, Cain, and Nana were trapped by the red light emanating from the floor, depriving them of their physical freedom.
The magic circle of spells that received the blood of praise has captured you. Wait, I'll give you a taste of silence right away.
I won't let you do that.
Baldur looked at Tristan, who was slowly holding his sword.
How are you able to move?
Tristan was the only one able to escape from the magic circle. Was it the power of the holy sword Brynhildr, or was it the spirit of the general leading the volunteer army? It was impossible to know why now, but what mattered was that Tristan could fight.
Prepare yourself, Baldur. I'll defeat you.
We shall see.
Tristan and Baldur struck each other with their swords. The blades of the holy sword and the black greatsword collided, producing a high-pitched sound to show off each other's power.
Tristan, tell me, do you think your world is worth protecting?
Yes, our world is worth protecting.
But what's its value? Is it worth it for the strong to rule over the weak and continue to fight forever?
Sure, people are fighting back and forth now. However, people will repeatedly strive to get closer to the light and create a world without conflict.
Does that mean you will continue to make futile efforts that never lead to victory?
They are not futile.
Why do you say that?
If I can't do it, my children will. If those children can't do it, my children's children will. I'm sure we'll create a world without conflict.
Carrying Brynhildr's unshakable conviction that he found in the battle, Tristan landed a clean blow on Baldur.
That's a joke.
Baldur also placed his faith into the black greatsword and tried to block Tristan's blow. The swords colliding along with their master's ideals touched each other with a terrible sound. For a moment, the two swords seemed to have fully absorbed the impact they had created from each other. But the next moment, the black greatsword cracked and shattered into dust. Baldur saw that his sword had shattered and turned his body away slightly without panicking. Brynhildr aimed at Baldur along with Tristan's spirit, amputated his opponent's right hand.
This is it.
Tristan was surprised by the feel of Brynhildr when he amputated his arm. It felt like he had cut through a vacant suit of armor. That was when Tristan realized everything. Losing his balance, Balder fell to his knees in surprise. Standing behind them, Tristan pressed the tip of Brynhilder's blade against Balder's nape. Balder didn't look flustered when he saw the blade that touched his neck.
You did it, Tristan.
You won.
Cain and Nanna were confident of victory. The moment the black greatsword was shattered, the magic that had bound them was also gone. They waited for Tristan to stab Balder. But Tristan refused to move the sword. Balder also remained on his knees, not moving.
Tristan, why don't you stab him?
Cain. There's no point in killing him. After all, he is from the netherworld. No. This guy is just a shadow from the netherworld. In the shadows, people's dark thoughts gather, and Balder shows the desires that the owners of such hearts seek. So people think that they see a savior who fulfills their heart's darkest desires.
That's right.
Hearing those words, Cain and the others screamed. The identity of the opponent they were fighting against was the darkness in the hearts of many people.
Tristan, what are you going to do with me?
It's easy to kill you. Brynhilder could probably wipe you out. But then people's hearts will disappear with it. No matter how black the darkness of the heart, it is a part of the person. If we lose it, we won't be ourselves.
The darkness of the heart was not evil. People grew through suffering and fear. And because of the darkness of the heart, they were able to endure hardship. If one lost the darkness that hid in their heart, they wouldn't be able to endure suffering.
So I want you to go back to your own world.
Very well. As long as there is darkness in the hearts of humans, I will come again and again.
That's okay. No matter how many times you visit this world, we will always drive you back.
Very well, Tristan. I will grant thy wishes. I look forward to seeing you again.
As Balder claimed, something began to seep out of his jet-black armor. It was neither darkness nor shadow, but a black mass. It was probably impossible for people to perceive and describe it. The black shape slowly melted away. The black armor, which belonged to Balder, collapsed to the floor. Lying on the ground was nothing more than an empty suit of armor.
Did we win, Tristan?
Yeah, we won.
The moment the Night of Darkness disappeared in response to Tristan's words, the people who had followed Balder lost their faith in the darkness as if they had been freed from possession. Freed from the curse of Balder, the people held a feast in honor of the Battle of the Volunteer Army. The city of Warma continued its festivities for 3 days. Under the midnight sun season, the commotion continued night and day. The last night of the festival was about to end. As expected, many people went home drunk or sleepy, and few people were making noise in the city. In a room in an inn where most of the volunteer army personnel were drunk or sleeping, Tristan and Cain were preparing for a trip.
Tristan, if you just leave without a word, everyone will get angry, won't they?
Yes, but I think this is the best.
Why did you suddenly decide to go on a trip?
It wasn't suddenly. I decided when I defeated Balder. If I stay like this, I'm sure there will be calls to defeat Citigenia.
What's wrong with that? Everyone will fight to defeat Zetagenia and restore the royal family of Zenobia.
No, I can't, Kane. If I fight Zetagenia as it is now, I will lose to Balder.
To Balder? He's not around anymore?
Balder is certainly no longer in Orma, but Balder is everywhere. In my heart, in your heart.
What do you mean?
As I said when I fought Balder, Balder is a manifestation of the dark thoughts of the people gathered in a dark power. It was in the form of a night of darkness. The power of darkness has disappeared and the form of Balder is gone, but Balder lives on in all our hearts.
I guess so. We won't lose to such a heart, will we?
Normally I wouldn't lose, but when it comes to fighting Zetagenia, it's a different story.
What's the difference?
I learned it this while leading the volunteer army. Leading people requires tremendous power, and the greater the power, the greater the dark thoughts in one's heart. Now, if I were to fight Zetagenia, I would surely be defeated by those dark thoughts. It's not something I can do right now. I need to discipline myself and fight to prevent that from happening.
You can do it. Have confidence.
I'm glad you say that, but I'm too immature right now to handle such a big job.
So, are you going to give up on defeating Zetagenia?
No, I'm not giving up. But unless I don't get stronger, it's useless to defeat Zetagenia. I'm sure I'll do the same thing over and over again.
Same thing? What's that?
When someone gains great power, someone will try to take it away. And then the conflict fails to cease. Instead, it repeats itself. In order to break such a chain, I need to learn various things and train myself. I have to be strong enough to withstand the great power of guiding people.
So, you haven't given up on defeating Zetagenia?
No, I haven't. When I am strong enough to bear the name of King Tristan of Xenobia, I will start fighting again.
Got it. Until then, I'll be by your side.
Kane, I've said it many times, but you don't have to come with me.
Tristan, I made a promise to Estrada. I'll go all the way with you.
Even though you follow me just as a promise?
What?
Just kidding. Thanks.
The two friends looked at each other, smiled, and quietly left the room with their luggage. The next day, Nana was the first to notice that Tristan and Kane were missing. When the members of the volunteer army searched for them, they found a piece of parchment in their room, which said only that Tristan had resigned as general and disbanded the volunteer army. As Tristan and Kane disappeared, leaving only one letter, the volunteer army troops seemed angry, sad, and disappointed, respectively.
How can they leave without a word?
Even if she had been spoken to, she would not have been able to go with him. Now that the battles of the volunteer army were over, she had to return to Liatfrost to help her elderly father, the king.
Tristan, Kane, God bless you wherever you are.
Aquarius was not angry and quietly prayed for their happiness. She was sad that the two had left without saying goodbye. But their actions were also brought about by God, so she wasn't too distraught. Even if they were separated now, if they tried to carry out God's deeds, there would come a time when they would encounter each other naturally.
Without so much as a farewell.
Yorkaif was heartbroken that the person he was supposed to serve was gone. He couldn't protect King Grant of Zenobia and had escaped the days he'd spent thinking he was a loser. Because of that, the prince was an important person to him. Now that the figure had disappeared from his presence, it seemed that the idle days would return again.
Oh well, the prince must have a plan.
Grant encouraged the dejected Yorkaif by tapping him on the shoulder. Of all the volunteer army forces, only Grant seemed to understand Tristan's actions.
Grant, you don't seem too surprised.
I thought that if the prince was who I thought he was, he would leave. But it's a shame to leave with a goodbye.
Why did you think the prince would travel?
The prince had gone to learn something important.
But then even if we're together...
Young people have to learn for themselves, it's just that time. Don't be discouraged. I'm sure you'll see the prince again. At my age, I'm not so sure I will.
Speaking to a dejected Yorkaif, Grant continued to stare silently at the distant sky. Soon after, those who had joined the volunteer army returned to their hometowns. Several years passed without incident. Then they heard Tristan's name again after the fall of the Zetagenian Empire.